Mussorgsky was the first composer who invented the method how to show church bells without church bells. Seriously? Mighty bunch? Oh, okay. Is he guilty or not? I've already shared with you that all the composers which we are talking about are my favorites. Like Glinka, our first hero, was my very beloved composer when I was a teenager. I went to opera Ivan Susanin like 6 times in Mariinsky Theater, and I cried a lot, like, why did he die, why so? But it was in my childhood. I didn't understand that it was a little propaganda inside. For me, it doesn't matter. I like, oh, poor Susanin. Rimsky-Korsakov, our second hero, you remember him maybe? I hope so. Yeah, that's cool. I didn't love his music like too much. I've already respected him. Hello, girls, hello. 2 free places here. Yes, two here. Don't be shy. I don't know why, but sometimes people are afraid to sit on the first line. I understand. Yeah, that's nice that you're not so shy. Thank you. But I've respected him because he's such a strong person, and you remember how strictly disciplined he was. He was an officer, and he helped a lot of people, and he was the director of conservatory anyway. But today our hero is Mussorgsky, Modest Mussorgsky, and you know, I love him with a very special love. I don't listen to his music often because it's very hard. And this week I was preparing and I rewatched Boris Godunov, the opera. We will talk about it soon. And it's always such a big stone on the soul. I don't know how to explain this feeling. So I love him, but in this way, like, oh my God, you're great. Oh, not today, but sometimes. So let's talk about him. And the last thing I would say before we begin, I've prepared 2 little experiments today for you. They will begin pretty soon. I will explain you everything. It will be little cartoons I've made for you. So be prepared. Modest Mussorgsky, when and where did he born? Oh, he was born near to the Pskov. It's very little and nice city in Russia. It is now about 4 or 5 hours on the train, but that time it was 2 or 3 days, not so far away from St. Petersburg. And of course, Modest Mussorgsky is also from a noble family, very ancient. It's his childhood house. And of course, his destiny, like destiny of Rimsky-Korsakov and destiny of all that composers, was like obvious. He needed to be an officer. I think it was the only way for noble boys to have a career. So of course, when he's 13 years old, of course he is going to St. Petersburg. Of course, it's the capital, and he is a young officer, but about music, not about historic what happened. So I made a little cartoon for you with me. So it will be me, but the perfect version of me. You watch Substance, yes? Do you want to be better version of you? So I decided to be better version of me, and you will see the cartoon about this group of composers. Please watch it carefully, because after we will have some funny questions to understand that everything is clear about them. And it will be a nice history. How did a bunch of friends met and did all Russian music in St. Petersburg in 15 years. Let's watch. Mighty bunch. Let me tell you about a famous group of Russian composers whose music you've surely heard. It all began with an 18-year-old pianist, Miri Balakirev, who arrived in St. Petersburg in 1855.
Despite being self-taught, he impressed the public and even his idol Mikhail Glinka, who encouraged him to keep composing. Balakirev decided to stay in the city teaching and performing music. A year later, he met Vladimir Stasov, a 32-year-old critic and librarian. They quickly became best friends, bonding over politics and music. Both admired Glinka, but criticized his opera Ivan Susanin, believing it glorified blind loyalty to authority, a threat they thought Russians needed to overcome. That same year, Balakirev met 20-year-old Cesar Cui, an army officer and non-professional musician. Cui became his student and brought along his friend, 18-year-old Modest Mussorgsky, also a beginner in music. Together, they began studying under Balakirev. In 1861, they were joined by 17-year-old naval officer Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov, whose teacher introduced him to Balakirev, recognizing his talent. And so, this remarkable group of composers started their journey together. The four friends met daily at Balakirev's house. At first, the meeting were like lessons. They played and analyzed music, studying the works of great composers. Over time, they began giving concerts. Balakirev and Mussorgsky played piano, sometimes Mussorgsky sang, and they even staged opera scenes. They also performed their own compositions and studied Russian folklore and church singing. In 1862, Rimsky-Korsakov left for a round-the-world voyage, leaving the group as a trio for 3 years. During this time, there was also one figure that joined the group. It was Alexander Borodin. Balakirev was often visiting the famous doctor Sergei Botkin, and there he met Borodin at one of Botkin's parties. Borodin soon became part of the group. Stasov remained a constant supporter, promoting their music in the press, organizing concerts and suggesting opera ideas. Prince Igor for Borodin, Boris Godunov for Mussorgsky, and the Snow Maiden for Rimsky-Korsakov. The group aimed to create uniquely Russian symphonic music inspired by Glinka. Each composer focused on a different vision of Russia. Rimsky-Korsakov explored fairy tales. Mussorgsky – political and social themes. Borodin looked to history. And Cui, through less talented, wrote operas which never gained fame. In 1867, Stasov coined their nickname Mighty Bunch, we stuck, but they preferred New Russian School. By the 1870s, Balakirev stopped composing, hinting at depression in letters to Stasov. He described darkness in his soul and a lack of strength for creativity. Later, he became deeply religious, stopped eating meat, kept stray animals, and visited a fortune teller. Rimsky-Korsakov described him as a mix of Christian meekness, love of animals, and old maid-like pettiness. Balakirev lived until 1910, but as his health declined, the composer's gathering faded away. In 1881, Mussorgsky was the first of them to pass away at 42 years old, likely due to his long struggle with alcohol addiction. In 1887, Borodin died of a heart attack at the age of 53. Cesar Cui left the music and focused on his second profession. By 1888, he became a professor at the Military Engineering Academy. Rimsky-Korsakov became the custodian of his friend's unfinished works. He orchestrated Mussorgsky's Boris Godunov and Khavanshina, and, with his friend Alexander Glazunov, he completed Borodin's Prince Igor. He also prepared their romances and instrumental pieces for publication. Rimsky-Korsakov worked a lot until his death in 1908. teaching and conducting at the free music school originally founded by Balakirev. Vladimir Stasov lived a long, fulfilling life, traveling wildly and becoming a member of the Academy of Sciences. That's how ended the remarkable journey of the composers who defined the sound of Russian music and shared it with the world.
So, you saw a little cartoon about Mighty Bunch. Mighty Bunch is so important in music student books in Russian music schools. So if you will go there, you will, in the first page, like Mighty Bunch, Mighty Bunch, Mighty Bunch. And actually, in Russian language, it sounds a bit funny. They didn't like this company of people, because in Russian, it sounds like this. Могучая кучка. And maybe you remember that this kuchka, glinka, tataka is something little. It's part of the word, like something little. And it sounds like mighty bunchy. I don't know how to explain. And they were like, seriously? Mighty bunch? Oh, okay. But Stasov was too famous. And when he wrote it in his article, everybody like, oh yeah, mighty bunch. And now it is all in student books. So this history about the friends and composers is need to be understood. So I have some questions for you, funny, to remember all of them. Let's try. Please don't be shy and don't be afraid to answer not correctly. So, did you understand which one of these people was a chemist, real chemist with this Yes, yes? Borodin, of course, that's nice. And till the end of his life, he was a chemist, not a musician. And all his chemistry organization was like, oh my God, what are you doing? Music? Stop it, please. Because he was really cool chemist. Okay, one more question. Which one of them was an alcoholic? Did you understand? Why are you so happy? Mussorgsky was an alcoholic. Rimsky-Korsakov, no, not Rimsky-Korsakov. He was an opposite of alcoholic. He was the best friend of Mussorgsky and helped him to save himself for a while. He put Mussorgsky to hospital, to clinic, yeah, sometimes to save him. And in the end of life of Mussorgsky, Rimsky-Korsakov was the one who put him into this hospital. But there is a legend, I don't know exactly if it's true, I was trying to find the information and I didn't. There is a legend that there in the hospital, in last day of his life, Mussorgsky asked a man to bring him alcohol inside secretly. And he put it inside himself and died. So he was alcoholic, yes. Unfortunately, it was Mussorgsky. Okay, did you remember who was the teacher? The teacher of them all. Balakirev, this guy. He was that person who came to St. Petersburg and after collect them all. He was teaching composition and it was rare for that time. Everybody was like, I will teach you how to play the piano. I will teach you how to play the violin. But he was like, I will teach you how to write a symphony, yeah? And they all were, yes, please. Okay. And it's very interesting that he is self-educated. So he was kind of genius. He had only 10 lessons of piano when he was 10 years old. And after, he became a virtuoso pianist and came to St. Petersburg. Okay, one more question. Which one of them didn't write the music at all? No music. Stasov, Vladimir Stasov, he was not a composer, but he was nearly the main part of Mighty Bunch because he was the idea maker. He was a journalist, so he wrote articles and he was like, he had his view on the history of Russia. He was very politically educated and he was like, so you will write the opera about Boris Godunov, you will write Prince Igor, it's important. And they're like, okay, but what should I do? And he said, I will help you. Here are materials, here are books. Please read this, do this. So he was not a composer, but he was a gray cardinal. Is it this in English? Yeah, we can say this? Okay. He was like the director of them all. And I think the last question, who was a naval officer? Rimsky-Korsakov. I draw that the ship is taking him away in one moment. Yes, he was the naval officer, and he was in the sea, he was working there, and you remember maybe that in all operas and symphonies of Rimsky-Korsakov there are a lot of water motifs. Yeah, sometimes it's ocean, sometimes it's a lake, sometimes it's just the water. Okay, so Rimsky-Korsakov was the naval officer, and he was, what is important for us, that person who finished all the operas, symphonies, romances of his dead friends. So he lived his long life, and he is the reason, maybe, why we know these operas. Thank you. You were yes, you were very, very attention, and your attention, yes, exactly this. It was important to talk about this group shortly, because after the lecture you will, oh, what is about Mussorgsky? Let me read the book which Emil put it there, yeah, on the table. And they all will be about this mighty bunch. Now you know what he's talking about. But today we are talking about just Mussorgsky, and now we can start to invent him from the inside. What is very interesting about him and what is making him different from his friends is that he was master of characters. I've called him cartoonist. Do you remember characters of Glinka? Maybe you remember Ivan Susanin, and he is a family guy, a hero, and he is a bit cardboard, yeah? He is like, I'm a really hero. And his daughter and his son, they are all from the fairy tale, heroic fairy tale. And maybe you remember some heroes of Rimsky-Korsakov, Scheherazade, Darlene, and who else? Sadko, Snow Maiden girl, Snegurочка, yes? And she is like perfect, yeah? She's perfect from the fairy tale. Mussorgsky chose another type of characters, and let me show you which ones were interesting for him. Please see this. I don't know why did I do this, okay. Please watch this picture. This is what in Russia we call юродивый. Юродивый. Юродивый is like holy fool. Юродивый is the person who lives on the street in summer, in winter, why are you smiling? Okay. It is not funny, okay, but a bit. But this person is very close to God. So he can be a bit of strange, not like other people. And usually people gave him some food and maybe some money because he is praying for them. He's like street fool. And Mussorgsky put this character and write a piece about him, but not about his living on the street and not about the God, about the юродивый, I will use this word, okay, who is in love with a woman. And it is strange. Let me show you all this very short piece with the words, and maybe you will feel something strange, because this scene, it is a bit like, I don't know if I can watch this. Oh my God, it's a bit strange. I'm sorry for him. Something like that. Let's try. After we will talk about the music.
Свет мой Савишна, сокол ясненький, полюби меня неразумного, приголод меня горемычного. Ой, ли сокол мой, сокол ясненький, Светик Savishna, свет Иванов. Не побрезгай ты голью голою, бесталанною моей долею. О, Превратился лишь на смех людям я, про забаву да на потехи им. Кличут Савишна скорбным разумом, величают свыше ваней Божиим. Светик Савишна, свет Иван, и дают пинков Ване Божьему, кормят, чествуют под затыльником, а под праздничий как разрядятся, уберутся лишь в ленты алые, дадут хлебушка Ване скорбному, не забыть, чтобы Ваню Божьего. Светик Савишна, ясный сокол, полюбишь меня непригожего, приголубь меня одинокого, как люблю тебя, мочи не сказать. Светик Савишна, верь мне, свет Иван.
Strange final chords, yeah? Like it disappeared completely, but not with the chord like ba-bam. No, it's just gone. Because Mussorgsky is a realist. He is like no formality at all. We begin, we finish, scene is over. And the scene is strange. So let me explain you a few details about this woman. It is not, she is not on the stage, but we feel that she's somewhere around, and there is some details inside which help us understand that there is not only social barrier between this Yurodivy and her, because he is Yurodivy. No, there is one more thing. He calls her with a few words, not with one. He calls her every time Svetik Savishna, Sveta Ivanovna. You see, a bit long name, yeah? Svetik Savishna, Sveta Ivanovna. It's 4 words. Svetik and Svet, these words are with white color. It's her name. Her name is Svetlana. And Svetik, Svet, Svetachka, Sveta is the little calm name of her. But Savishna and Ivanovna sounds strange, and not only for you if you're not from Russia. Hello, oh, it's nice to see you. I was Barin. Where are you? And you're here. Because both of these words is her second name. In Russia, we also have second name, like in America, I know. For example, I'm Anna, and my second name is Vladimirovna, because my father is Vladimir. I'm Anna, the daughter of Vladimir, Anna Vladimirovna. And this Svetik, maybe she is Svetik Savishna, maybe her father is Savely, maybe she is Ivanovna, her father is Ivan. Oh my God, maybe she got 2 fathers, but no, it's Russia. Okay, no, there is something interesting about that. There was a very ancient tradition, now it's gone away, and actually we don't know about it, it's not common knowledge, that second name could be from the husband. She is married, so she has father and she has husband, and we understand that Yurodivy knows about her, that she's married and she will never love him, but he can't not to tell her about his feelings. He's so open and he's like hysterical, yeah? Like he wants to share with her. Also interesting that, did you notice that every time, every line has some notes? I've forgotten this word again. Svetik Savishna, Sveta Ivanovna, полюби меня неразумного, та-та-та-та. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've met the 5 notes in line, yeah? When we were talking about Grishka and the folk music, we talked that 5 is very unusual size. 5 is strange. 5 is uncomfortable. But here, Mussorgsky is trying to be realistic with his with Yurodivy's speech. He's ta-ta-ta-ra-ta, ta-ta-ta-ra-ta, ta-ta-ta-ra-ta. And of course, he's not speaking like ta-ta-ri-ta, ta-ta-ra, ta-ta-ri-ta-ri-ta-ta. No. Just like in life, And here's from the folk, so like in the folk life. Okay, That was the first character of Mussorgsky. For me, it is also always a bit shocking. Like he's, yes, I need the lowest social social groups. Yeah, totally. And he's chosen another one. Let me show you another one piece. It is about orphans, and it is from One Little Orphan. Let's listen. Wait. Here we will stop. I think it's enough for us to understand what is the scene about. Maybe you don't know the word Barin, but maybe you do. Do you know the word Barin? No problem. Barin is a person of the highest estates, so a lord. Here on the picture there is, in ancient time it was the word Bayarin and Bayarinya as a woman. But after it became shorter, like Barin, and in this picture there is a painting of Fyodor Shalyapin. He was not real Barin because he lived in 20th century, but I love how he looks here. He looks exactly like Barin. He had this coat and this head, of course, and he's perfect Barin. He feels himself like this. So in the scene of Mussorgsky, we see how little boy or girl, we don't understand it, is asking the Barin for some food, for some help, and explaining how this person lives. And for me, it's interesting this melody is not really beautiful. It is also about realistic intonations. You see? Not like no. And this intonation is about crying, about some pain inside, and Mussorgsky is catching this perfectly. And there is something common between this romance and previous one. Let me talk about this. What do the melody of these two romances have in common? Oh, it's pretty interesting. They are not beautiful in common way. Yeah? They are not. And they are pretty boring if you are a singer, not an actor. They are interesting for you if you are an actor. But if you are a singer, no. What should I do with them? And Mussorgsky said, nothing. It is a scene. You need to live with this, not sing, don't show us your virtuoso opportunities. No, it's not the right place, it's not the right time. And please don't think that Mussorgsky was the, political activist. And he was like, I will write romances about all the poor people because I need to show it to the world. No, actually he was not revolutionary. He was, of course, he had very liberal views, and he was the type of person in Russia of that time who was rich and who was liberal. So he loved the people of the country, but I don't think that he really understood them, but maybe he did. He understood them better, I think, than his friends. He was watching them and watching their intonations. All the group of mighty bunch, they were all these barons and liberals together, and politics was too important for them. And you see, when I was preparing for this material, I was so excited. I was reading letters of them to each other. I was like, oh my God, I didn't do it in my childhood and my studies, okay? I did it now, and I go, oh my God, in Russia there are the same problems all the centuries. What is it? What's our destiny? They're all like, why Moscow? Why everything is in Moscow? Why every poor people need to send money to Moscow? Why poor people are so poor? Why rich people are so rich? What should we do with it? Okay. And some more very specific details which made me like a bit of this. Okay. So these pieces show us Mussorgsky as a very genius caricaturist, cartoon maker. And with this, one more detail. He was the lover of real Russian history. There was a law of that time, very interesting law. At that time, Tsar was from dynasty of Romanov. Every Tsar was Romanov. And there was a law not to show Romanov as the Tsar in the opera. You may think, no, stop. Anna, you've told us 2 weeks ago that there was a detail about Romanov in the opera Ivan Susanin. But there was no Tsar in it. Ha ha ha. You were able to talk about Tsar, but not to show him. Maybe you remember that in the plot of Ivan Susanin, there was little Mikhail Romanov. He was like 9 years old, and Susanin saved him from the Poles, and he was hiding in the forest. That's all. No Tsar. And Mussorgsky was like, I need to show the political problems, but I'm not able to show Tsar. I'm not able to show Tsar from Romanov's dynasty, not from other dynasty. And I will show you the opera Boris Godunov. It's very difficult, very complicated, and very political. And for you to understand the context, I've also made a little cartoon. Yes, because it will take me too much time to explain it. But let me show. Oh, at first, one chorus, and after cartoon. Okay, deal. So, please, I will show you the chorus, which the opera begins. So it's the first thing you see in the stage. You know nothing, so that's okay. You need to understand something. What are these people begging for? I didn't do any subtitles. You don't need them. Please use your imagination. What is happening on the stage? Let's wait for this. Okay. Good luck for them. Something very important happened. Okay. So, please listen and feel, because this scene for me feels sincerely sad. I feel like, yes, I also want to beg in someone for something. So please feel it and tell me your suggestions. What are they begging for? I think that's enough for us. And you see, it's very difficult to sing because in the end they sing. It's such an exercise. It's very, very difficult. So, what did you feel? What are they begging for? Any suggestions?
Food.
What?
Food.
Food. Nice suggestion. Maybe. Water. Nice suggestion. Maybe, yes, it's not a joke. Very nice suggestions. Maybe money. Yes, maybe money. Maybe for someone to be alive. Yes, for someone to be alive. Maybe someone is in the bad situation and they are begging to save him. Yeah, maybe. Okay, nice. Yeah, you have a suggestion.
I just thought they were saying, hear us, that they wanted to be heard. Maybe just be general. That's what it felt like to me, like begging to God, like they just feel small and unheard.
It's so nice that you say that they are begging to God. It is interesting. They are not begging to God actually, but yes, you felt this. No, you felt right. I now also understand that it feels like they're begging God, but they're not. Thank you all. Thank you. All your suggestions are realistic, nice, fine, and they're all wrong. Let me show. So remember this moment. Now I will show you the cartoon, which explains in a few minutes what happened before this scene. Okay? And after we will be like to the scene, we will fly away. To understand what aim people are begging for, we need historical context. Let's watch.
The famous Russian artist Ilya Repin has a painting, Ivan the Terrible kills his son. It illustrates an episode of the life of Ivan the Terrible when, in violent rage, he struck his son, Tsarevich Ivan, a fatal blow with a rod. Ivan the Terrible is a truly legendary figure. He was the first to adopt the title of Tsar. Before that, Russia was not centralized and its territories were ruled by princes. He increased centralized power by creating a strong army and an effective system of government. However, his reign was also marked by repressions. Ivan brutally cracked down on opposition, including boyars and ordinary people, resulting in thousands of victims. At the end of his life, Ivan became more isolated and paranoid. He once suspected his favorite son, Ivan, of threatening his father's authority, and in a fit of rage, he killed him. It was a fatal moment in the history of Russia. Then, Ivan the Terrible didn't know that clan of Rurikovich that he belonged to soon will be ended. But why? After all, Ivan was not the only son of Ivan the Terrible. First things first. One of the guardsmen who made a brilliant career under Ivan the Terrible was 18 years old Boris Godunov. As children, he and his sister were orphaned. Their uncle, who worked in the palace as a bedchamber attendant, took custody of them. This is how Boris ended up in the palace. When he became a young man, he began his career advancement. Through personal merits, thanks to the support of influential people, Godunov gradually began to attract the attention of Ivan the Terrible. Soon he became one of the most trusted confidants of the Tsar. He was brought even closer to the Tsar by the fact that Boris' sister caught the eye of Tsarevich Fyodor, and he now wanted to marry her. For this, he even abandoned the ancient tradition of reviewing brides from noble families. The Tsar was not against it. After all, the bride was Boris Godunov's sister, so okay. The young couple lived in a perfect harmony, but they had no children. Traditionally, women were the ones blamed for childlessness in royal families. They were forcibly sent to a monastery to remarry their sons. When Fyodor was 25, Ivan the Terrible decided to make Irina a nun and find his son a new wife. But Fyodor told his father that if he sent his wife to a monastery, then let him kill him too, because he couldn't live without his beloved Irina. The puzzled Tsar retreated. Perhaps he was relatively calm about the future of the throne, because that year Ivan the Terrible himself had another son, Dmitri. So, at the time of 15 1598, the situation looks like this. Ivan the Terrible reigns, his eldest son, Ivan, is killed, the middle son, Fyodor, lives with his wife Irina without children, and the last son, Dmitri, is still a little baby. At this very moment, Ivan the Terrible dies. 1584. Fyodor becomes Tsar, who doesn't take much interest in state affairs. His wife's brother, Boris Godunov, helps him in everything. 1581. 7 years later, little Tsarevich Dmitri dies under mysterious circumstances. He falls with his throat on a knife during a game. Rumors spread among the boyars. Someone eliminated the heir to the throne. 1598. 7 years later more, Fyodor dies. The dynasty of Rurikovich came to the end, a new Tsar was needed, and the candidate was obvious: Boris Godunov. Boris Godunov was a powerful figure with the support of the nobility. The boyars wanted to avoid a struggle for the throne and were looking for someone who could maintain order. There were rumors that Boris ordered the death of the young prince, but there was no proof. Russia needed a ruler quickly, or the country could fall into chaos. Boris made a very clever political move by publicly refusing the throne. He pretended to be humble and even went to a monastery, which may have been part of strategy to make his rule seem more legitimate. His refusal helped him later present his rise to a power as something that people and the boyars wanted. Now imagine Boris at the monastery, still refusing the throne. Outside, the boyars gathered a crowd to ask him to become a Tsar. A strict official with a baton makes sure the people showed enough emotions. Men and women cries and beg, saying, "Who will help us now? Our father, please don't leave us."
And they are singing, "Why are you leaving us, Tsar?" They are begging for Tsar. It is so strange and so... let's watch it again. You leave us alone. We are orphans without you. We are crying, we are begging, be our Tsar. And you know what? I've always felt so much about this scene. I also feeling like this, when I'm crying, I feel little pain here. And when I'm listening to this, I also feel this little pain. And for me, it sounds sincerely, like they are really crying. But you know what? There is a policeman near them. And when they stopped, he's like, "Oh, why did you stop, huh? Louder, louder." And he has a stick, and he's like, "My stick is here." And we are tired, no rest, no rest. Okay, why are you leaving us? Why are you doing this? Let me show you the piece when you can see the policeman. One moment. Policeman, policeman, where is you, policeman? Policeman! Let's watch him. Why? Silence, why? I will harm you. Don't be angry with us. You see how it's difficult, this scene, and actually I was thinking about you all this week, and I was like pretending to be you, like what should they think if they will watch Boris Godunov without any context, without any books, without any history. It all seems not the true. I don't know how to explain. Yeah, it's so difficult inside. Like, and very difficult for me was to find the words that they are sincere and not sincere at the same time. And Mussorgsky, he is not laughing at the people. No, he loves them, and he's showing their weaknesses. Like, I love you with all your weaknesses, but why? Why are you sincerely not sincere? Yeah? Why are you begging for the Tsar? Why are you just the piece of puzzle of these political games of boyars? You see, so Mussorgsky is speaking with us with this scene. And what is happening next? Let's move forward. Of course, it's the part of the game. And after Boris Godunov, sorry, you understood who was Boris Godunov from the cartoon? Nearly, yeah? He was the helper of Fyodor, who was the son of Ivan the Terrible. And when Fyodor died, Boris Godunov was the one one candidate to be a new Tsar. But he felt that he is not a Tsar from the God, by his blood, yeah? He needs legitimacy. And he decided to make legitimacy with people, with their begging. And after this, he said, okay, I will be your Tsar. But it's not that, like, happy scene, as you can imagine. Let's watch it. So, Boris Godunov is now not the old Boris Godunov. He is now the Tsar. But something is wrong. It is not very happy for him. It's not his the favorite day. Something is wrong. Let's see. I will show you the most great scene in the all Russian operas. I'm not sure about all the operas, but it's one of the greatest. And we will see this 2 minutes. Sorry? You feel the suspense inside you, yeah? You feel this tense that something will happen, and it's not very good. It's not very good. I'm sorry, I need to stop right here. I didn't tell you the truth. We will watch it till the end in a few minutes. But it's very important. You don't know what will happen next, yeah? You don't know this opera very well. Yes, lucky me. Let's just talk about one detail. Strange music, yeah? Do, 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 do. And if I will find somehow this sounds in the space, it's obvious that the high sound is here, yeah? The low sound is somewhere here. Let me show you what am I talking about. If you will find these sounds in the space by your feeling, you will understand what is this music about. Maybe you think it's about a time, like clock, tick-tock, tick-tock. No, 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 it's about something else. Let me show you, please. Find the sound, find the sound. Mussorgsky was the first composer who invented the method how to show church bells without church bells. All the other composers, we will talk next week about Tchaikovsky, about Rachmaninoff, about Shostakovich. Also there is Prokofiev, Stravinsky, all other composers. They've showed church bells like Mussorgsky did. And it was pretty strange sound of the bells. You see, it's not temperated like piano or like violin. It's strange notes. And Mussorgsky from the 19th century, you remember Rimsky-Korsakov? La 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 la. Nice chords, nice notes, nice melodies. Mussorgsky, no. Let me show you this music. No, 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 no. No, no ascending the throne, please. Stop it. Stop it immediately. Yep. Let me show you these chords on piano. They are strange. They are too avant-garde for 19th century. What? Mussorgsky is repeating 4 notes, and that's all. 4 notes, and sometimes they became more fast. Do you know how how that calls? We call it minimalism. It is the second part of 20th century. Nobody did it in 19th century. It is not the method of them. He is much more futuristic than others. Yeah, and why did I stop at that time? Why didn't I stop the scene? Because something very important happens in music. After he's showing us orchestra bells, no, church bells, with orchestra, there is something more what happened. And I hope this will shock you. Glory to new Tsar, Boris Fedorovich! Glory him! Glory to the sun! Glory to the new Tsar! Okay, let's stop right here because I feel too much. It's too much. That's what I meant when in the beginning, yeah? Mussorgsky is sometimes too much for me. It's, I feel, no vocabulary for my feeling, you know? Also in Russian. Did you understand what happened in the high, yeah? It was like imagination of him. It is not from the score of Mussorgsky. It is just for the Royal Opera House. They invented this. Like Boris, in opinion of Royal Opera House, is thinking about little Dmitri. And we understand that he's guilty for his death. But you know what is interesting? In Mussorgsky's opera, we don't really understand till the end, is he guilty or not? And it's a really interesting detail. Yes, please.
I have a question. The orchestra bells are in the original Mussorgsky. The church bells, are they in the original or are they added by the
They are, I think, from the original score. Yes, I think so.
I was just wondering because it looked to me like the church bells started sounding when Dmitri appeared. So I was thinking that maybe the real church bells are for real Dmitri and the fake church bells are for the Godunov. But I was just
My God, it's too conceptuative for 20th century, but it's very nice idea. One moment, I see you. Maybe you think so because, yeah, I was a bit shy now because I was like in my brain, was it Rimsky-Korsakov or Mussorgsky? Because you know Rimsky-Korsakov was the person who finished this opera. And sometimes Rimsky-Korsakov did his, he writes something in the scores of his friends because he was so clever, you know. But no, I'm sure that Mussorgsky was the person who did it. And this is a miracle. Because, you know, in orchestra, I remember you, sorry, in orchestra, there is, as you know, tubular bells. Tubular bells. You have bells in orchestra, and they sound like this. Pretty nice. Every normal composer uses them. You know, church bells, they're heavy, they're expensive. Where can you get them? Oh my God. I don't know, but Mussorgsky need this, and it is shocking effect. And you know, I was on Boris Godunov in life. It is much more shocking than from the audio because special acoustic of these bells, you feel too much, and you feel that something is very sane and very church is happening. Yes, please, ma'am.
You read my mind. All contemporary versions include these tubular bells. I don't know the instrument that Mussorgsky composed. His intention was that every modern production, post-20th century production, includes tubular bells.
Yes, and you know what? Mussorgsky also uses and tubular bells. You will hear them in 2 minutes. In other scenes, he used these tubular bells, but in the coronation scene, he uses church bells. Okay, maybe you're interested in what was next, and I'm too. And now is the right time for this slide. How does Boris feel about ascending the throne? Now we saw the actor, and I think this opera, I found this part of Boris Godunov, this coronation scene, 5 years ago. And 3 times a year, I go and I rewatch this because I love it. I've showed this to my husband the last year because I really love it. But I think that the whole opera is not on YouTube. It's on the Royal Opera House site. Maybe I should find it. I think it's very cool. But here, this actor, he acts like Boris is shocked. But we don't know exactly, was it the actor's invention or Mussorgsky did this? Because Mussorgsky didn't write in the score. Boris is very shocked. He is upset. He feels danger. No. In the score, Boris just go. What do you think? But let me show you how did he felt about the throne. Maybe you have inside you your suggestions, but let's see the reality. After I will tell you the words, at first please feel it. his first words in opera. What a painful chord, yeah?
Какой-то страх невольный, зловещим предчувствием сковал мне сердце.
A bit unusual aria for the Tsar who had coronation a few moments before. And you see the words are, my soul is grieving, some involuntary fear, and I will not do it because it sounds funny. It's not funny. It is very tragic aria. No funny. Yes. He is praying praying to God that please give me the power to have the power, and I will be a good Tsar. Please trust me. May I rule my people in glory. And after he said, like, now let us bow down to the parent rulers of Russia, like me and the God, and then call the people to a feast, everyone from nobles to the poor blind men. All are free to enter, all guests are welcome. It's normal situation for the coronation. We already met the coronation scene, yeah? In Ivan Susanin, remember? When everybody sings Slavsia, Slavsia, and poor children of Susanin were like, oh, oh, yeah? You remember maybe. So another coronation scene in the Russian opera. Okay, pretty unusual first aria. Maybe you remember that Ivan Susanin also didn't have this beautiful aria, I'm Ivan Susanin, and Boris Godunov also doesn't have it. Why is Boris' soul grieving? I know that you all understood this, but let me tell this again. We are suggesting, yes, we as a listeners, we don't know exactly, but we are suggesting that Boris killed Dmitry before to be a Tsar. And you know, that's the main conflict of the opera. Mussorgsky shows us it in the very first movement. And after, you know, something is going to happen to make this conflict a fire, not a... Let me show you what is happening next. Do you have, you're okay? You're okay. That's okay. That's nice. Monastery. Not all monastery, but a really little room inside. In Russian, we call it kelia, little room in monastery. And there is a writer who writes everything about everything. You know, this ancient profession. They were like, they put reality of the time to the words. He is very old and he is ready to be retired. And he has very young helper, Grigory, Grishka. You know, in Russian, K, da, Grishka. This Grishka is a really nice boy, but I think he's ambitious and he doesn't want to be a writer. But what does he want? Let me show you the scene with subtitles, maybe. Do you have suggestions? Do you? Somebody who didn't hear the opera, please. What are your suggestions? What will be with this Grishka? It's funny. Come on. What will he do?
He will pretend, yes, he's Dmitry.
You suggested or you knew? You're well done. That's cool. It's okay. No sorries. Of course, it's so cool. Everyone will know this in a few moments. So let's listen their talk to each other.
Давно, честной отец, хотелось мне тебя спросить, каких был лет царевич убиенный?
Uh-oh.
Был бы твой ровесник и царствовал. свой труд передаю, описывай, не мудрствуя лукаво, все, чему свидетель в жизни будешь. Войну или мир, управу государей, пророчество и знаменья небесных. А мне пора.
Attention! There will be a very interesting sound. Here, tubular bells. All the bells.
Звонят к заутрене. Благослови, Господь, своих рабов. Подай.
Okay, I think it's enough for us for now. You understood, yeah? And it's so interesting. My friend taught me one very interesting word. He uses this in literature. He is a literature knower. I don't know this word. Foreshadowing. Foreshadowing. Foreshadowing is when you don't exactly know now what will happen, but you can suggest by the signs. And when Nestor tell Grishka, see, he would have been your age and reigned. And music at this exactly moment changes. Let's remember this moment. And I love how the actor was like so childish, yeah? And this reaction is so dangerous and ambitious and happy and funny, so much in his face. And of course he was like, maybe I should tell that I'm survived Grigory. Oi, Dmitri, sorry. He is Grigory. He wanted to pretend to be Dmitri. Yeah, he will do it. He will do it, and it is exactly historical situation. So from the history, there will be plenty of fake Dmitris on the time. Plenty. Some of them, okay, spoilers. He will not be succeeded, but. Fake Dmitri 1, I remember fake Dmitri 2, and after it was fake Simeon, fake Grishka, fake that, they were all like, oh, I'm Dmitri, but I'm Simeon, doesn't matter, and everyone was like, yeah, cool, we trust you. Another one like, now I'm Dmitri, like, oh, okay, we trust you. Okay, people are very, kind and open for any suggestions. So, I don't want to tell you what will be happening interesting, because I want you to be interested to watch the whole opera, sorry. I will just show you the interesting moment, I think one of difficult areas. We need to finish Boris' plot, so watch him, please, for a moment. What's happening at the end of this Boris? Somebody is telling him that, oh, there is a boy, and he called himself Dmitri, but, Dmitri was dying so painfully, he was so little, and he was with this blood, and suddenly Boris feels, oh, no air. What should I do? I'm dying. So we understand that maybe he's out of his mind. Maybe he feels too guilty for it. So what is happening with him is that.
сейчас скорей. Ох, тяжко мне.
I need to see my son.
Ему. Оставьте нас,
Leave us alone.
уйдите все.
Go away, all of you.
Прощай, мой сын,
Goodbye, my sonny boy.
умирай.
I'm dying.
Сейчас ты царствовать начнешь.
You will be Tsar in a few moments.
Не спрашивай, каким путем я царство приобрел.
It doesn't matter how terrible how many terrible things I did to be a Tsar. But you will be the better Tsar. And he advises his son how to be a Tsar. But I will not tell you what happened next. Did Boris die? Was his son the Tsar or not? What was with fake Dmitry Grigory Grishka? I will not tell you, because I hope that you will watch this opera. You know, there is no such much operas to see, to them be interesting and horrifying for you. Now I understand that opera is, it is not a movie. It is something old. Sometimes it's very beautiful fairy tale, yeah? Sometimes we watch opera just to go to the theater, yeah? To make it a ritual. But Boris Godunov is different. It is like Hitchcock, you see? And I think you will have your, I don't know, your good feelings or bad feelings when you will watch this. And I think you are ready now because you know all the context. There will be some funny scenes and terrifying scenes and political scenes. So I think you will enjoy it, okay? Sorry for that, la 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 la. But it's time for us to finish today's lecture and the talk about Mussorgsky, because next time we will talk about exactly opposite composer. We will talk about Tchaikovsky, and we will cry about the beauty, and we will dance, and we will sing, and our soul will be so, you know, full of joy. Not like today, because I think now our souls are full of something difficult and heavy and a bit dirty, and but something very interesting and important. So, a summary of Mussorgsky's life and his music. Римский, ой, два римских Корсаков, sorry. Mussorgsky. Mussorgsky was really avant-garde composer. You remember the chords of church bells, yeah? They are dirty, they are not beautiful, they are difficult. And a lot of people who saw Boris Godunov, they were like, oh, not beautiful, new opera, we don't like it. But the people who knew, they were like, oh my God, so political, so cool, thank you. Mussorgsky himself was a difficult figure, and when I prepared, today when I went here from Brooklyn by subway, I was a bit worried, kind of like, oh, I need to read something about Mussorgsky, some more, not to forget everything. And I wrote 2 articles. First it was Mussorgsky, melancholic, patriotic, and so tiny, and he was so, The second article, you know, the next one was, he was an alcoholic, like any liberal Barin who loved his people, because he wanted to be close with them, he didn't know how, so he drank vodka. And I was like, wow, Mussorgsky is a difficult figure. He was a bit lazy. He was too really introvert. And Cesar Curie, his friend from the cartoon, he wrote about Mussorgsky. Oh, I will not be surprised if I will know that the first part of the day, Mussorgsky was thinking what he will do in the second part of the day. But in the second part of the day, he was thinking, what was I doing yesterday? So he was something like that. But, and he didn't write, I think, too much music, but every piece of it is very cool. So, maybe you remember this slide from the cartoon. I begin that there is Ilya Repin, the famous Russian painter, famous artist, who drew Ivan the Terrible and his son Ivan on November 16. This Ilya Repin was one of the best friends of Mussorgsky. And when he knew that Mussorgsky is in the hospital and maybe he will die the next day or the day after the next day, he immediately went to this hospital and he drew a portrait of Mussorgsky. It took him 4 days. It's extremely fast. And he drew the portrait. I think it's very beautiful and very realistic because you see, Ilya Repin is a realistic artist. He is not against the blood and not against this eyes of Ivan the Terrible. So he drew Mussorgsky. He painted Mussorgsky. And maybe you see that his nose is red, maybe because he was an alcoholic. And his hair, they are not in a good form, maybe because he was too ill. But his eyes, there's so much melancholy in them. In all portraits, he is with these eyes, like he's watching something inside his head, some scenes of history maybe. And after that, Mussorgsky died. That's so cool that we have this portrait. I'm grateful for Mussorgsky for this music. I'm grateful to you to be so patiently attended to lectures. So thank you so much. It's all what I wanted to tell you today. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, my friends. Of course, lecture is finished, but if you have questions, suggestions, something to talk with me about, I'm all in. Is it the right words? Yes, you want. So, yes. I think the girl was the first one, ladies first, and after will be you, okay? Yes, please. Goodbye, don't be shy. See you next week with Tchaikovsky. Watch Boris Godunov. So, and now silent, please. We will continue talking, okay?
Maybe I can ask privately.
No. We need to talk. Guys, please, be a little silent. We will continue talking now. Yes, sorry for that. We are talking. Yes, please.
Yeah, it seems like he was taking your breast for his whole life. And this is pretty much reflected everywhere. But I have one question, and it's stupid, but in the beginning you mentioned that there was an alternative name for Grishka.
Yes.
It was New Russian Composer?
New Russian School.
New Russian School. What was the old one then?
That's a great question. The question is, is there any old Russian school if we have new Russian school? The answer is no. No. They just wanted, oh, Darlene, goodbye. You're in a hurry today. Goodbye, my dear. See you next week. Okay, we will discuss Mussorgsky and other composers. Thank you. You're very beautiful today. So, I think they wanted to show that the first one was Grishka. Do you remember you wasn't in the first lecture, sorry. We have a video and we will have it very, very soon. Next week I will show you the QR code with the video and you will see the first lecture if you didn't see it. In the end of this lecture, I told that Grishka became a saint figure for all the composers after him. And they were like, oh, Grishka was the first, but we are his composers. We are the school after him. Maybe that was what they meant. But exactly, they were the first. And you know, one more detail. For me, it's so interesting. None of them was a professional composers. None of them was from the conservatory, from this. No, Rimsky-Korsakov after was the teacher in conservatory. But at first he was like, no, please, no. And Balakirev said, no, I barely know music, you know? And the chemists, officers, and they made Russian music. Oh my God, it's so cool. So yeah, nice question.
So what did they learn and teach in conservatory?
Rimsky-Korsakov was the person who was a teacher in conservatory after, and he was teaching music theory and orchestra. Orchestra was his great passion. He was an orchestrist. He wrote a lot of books about orchestra. And the main student book about how to make the music, how to make the score nowadays in conservatory is from Rimsky-Korsakov. So nowadays we are studying by his book. And theory of music, I said it. And yeah, I think that's all. Maybe composition, of course, composition. It was, something like this. Thank you. Yes, please, sir.
And you said there was an experiment. What was the experiment?
My experiment was to show you cartoons instead of 20 minutes trying me trying to explain what I wanted to say. Because when I was making cartoons, I had a text with me. I wrote it and I was reading this with microphone to save the time. So what do you think? Was it clear? Was it enough clear? Yeah? It was perfect. Not too fast? Not too fast. Okay, so maybe I will do some cartoons for you next time and after next time. Thank you. I think it's a perfect way to save time, but it was important topic to talk about them. I've saw a lot of lections about Mussorgsky and his friends from my colleagues, and I see that there is a problem of them. They are like, we need to talk about them, but we also need to talk about this bunch. Yes, what to choose? So yeah, thank you. Yes, please, ma'am.
I apologize, I'm not so familiar with his music.
No problem at all.
Like I should. So how much of his influence comes from, say, liturgical, religious music versus, say, folk music, if any? Or is his education and upbringing truly just because of the environment that St. Petersburg is, this very rich musical and cultural environment? Or he's from Pskov, so he's from...
Oh, he was in Pskov just in his childhood, so he was... Goodbye. So he spent his adult life in St. Petersburg, you are right. So about the church music and folk music. I hear a lot of folk music in it, but not so much church music. But I think that the core and the structure of these voices inside the core is maybe from church, but you know, not so much think you can be inspired of church music. It is a very strict system of sounds, but folk music is another. And when they are singing, da 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 da, I hear that this big distance between notes here, and this two notes on one side. Da, 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 da. You know, Mussorgsky and his friends, they were seriously teaching the folk music. They were, in Russia we call it собирали. So they were collecting. Cool. They were collecting music. How it was? They came to countryside and asked people to sing for them, especially Rimsky-Korsakov. You know, Rimsky-Korsakov was so hardworking. I don't know how he had plenty of time to do this. He was the main person who invented this. They were writing it down, but they were not writing it down in a contemporary way. Now when we do this, we do it exactly in details, like, okay, this, and they were like, okay, la, la, la. You know, like folk became academic, but it was just the beginning of a great job. So they were really fans of folk music, and I think it was serious work and serious inspiration for Mussorgsky and other guys. Nice. Some more questions, some more questions. No questions at all? Yeah, please.
Was Mussorgsky known for any other of his operas, or basically was Godunov like his one-hit wonder?
Nice, yes, nice question. No, he has some operas, not only Boris Godunov, but Boris Godunov is my favorite. And, you know, I'm an authority, so I've chosen this one. He has also an opera named Havanshina. Havanshina. You know, I've tried to listen to it 2 times in the theater, and I couldn't. It's too difficult. And I'm not sure that I watched it in the whole opera in my life. It is long, it is difficult, and the plot is much more bloody than in Boris Godunov. For example, in the end, all the heroes burn themselves. Yeah, it's very hard. What?
Same thing in Barin.
Okay, maybe, but it sounds a bit also dirty. Yeah, so he had plenty of operas and much more music that I showed you today. For example, there is a very famous music, Pictures from the Exhibition. And we are not talking about it today because I understand that everybody in the world can just turn on the Spotify and enjoy Pictures from the Exhibition. You understand everything because birds are and catacombs are and the Tubular garden is full of flowers and full of sounds. So I think it's none of difficult. I wanted to make something difficult for you, to explain some details, some special details of maybe Russian culture inside, which need to be inside the context. So after you can begin with Pictures from the Exhibition today, for example, and you will have a very great time. He wrote Pictures from the Exhibition because it was the painting of his best friend, Gartman, and his friend died. He was also an alcoholic, and he died recently when he was 39 years old, and Mussorgsky was so upset, so he decided to make music about these pictures of the exhibition, and it is really very beautiful. Thank you. Some more questions? Yes, please, ma'am.
Okay, the opera tonight, I already forgot the name of it, I'm sorry, but is it performed very often or is it too obscure? I don't know much about office.
The Met performed it 2 seasons ago.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
The Metropolitan Opera performed it 2 seasons ago.
Okay, so it's
2 seasons ago. Not so often. Not so often. We need a petition to Metropolitan Opera. We need Boris Godunov right now in this season. Yes, actually I don't know plenty about it because I'm only a few months here. But I know that in Russia it's pretty popular. Yeah, but in America I don't know. But I would like to watch Boris Godunov. But now you can just use YouTube or this Royal Opera House if you liked coronation scene. Let me check. What was it? Yeah, it is Royal Opera House. I really love these actors. Yeah, I think it's great. We need to watch it the whole. Last year, I was living in Tbilisi, Georgia, not American Georgia, but the country Georgia. And we, with our friends, we decided to do opera evenings with popcorn instead of movie evenings. And we rewatched Boris Godunov. You know, in the beginning it was popcorn, but after we were like, okay, popcorn became cold. And it was a great experience. I advise you to do it with your friends. So, any questions more? Yes, please.
A bit of a personal question. but when you describe music as difficult or dirty, do you mean to call it tonally dissonant, or are you alluding to something else?
Yes, I mean dissonance. You are very educated, but it's cool. But I don't know if dissonance is a common word or not common word, so I use these words about feelings maybe. And I know that sometimes they can a bit like not hurt you, but make you, why? And it is also effect that I want. Like, to talk about feelings, maybe subjective sometimes and maybe a bit provocative sometimes, to make the dialogue between us. I also love to talk about dissonance, consonance, these details, but I know that at first we need to talk about feelings and after to go to science. But it's so cool that you know that it's so nice. If you don't worry, it's okay. Some more questions? No questions. Okay, I will be here if you are too shy to make a question publicly, so you can talk to me right now. Thank you so much and see you next Tuesday, yes? See you next Tuesday. Goodbye.